Offers to purchase often contain conditions that must be met by a certain time and date for the transaction to proceed. Unfortunately, there are times when one of the parties is unable to fulfill a condition by the time stated in the offer. If that happens, they may request an extension of time from the other party. While it may seem convenient for such an extension to be arranged verbally, Interpretation 6.2 of the Realtor Code requires members to keep offer documents current using written extensions. Furthermore, Section 11E subroman numeral 3 of the residential offer and 9E subroman numeral 2 of the condominium offer state that any agreement between the parties relating to the transaction will have no force or effect unless it is included in writing. It is always in your best interest to have everything in writing to ensure compliance with your ethical and regulatory obligations, in addition to preventing misunderstandings between the parties about what was agreed to. If there is no evidence of an agreed-upon extension and no evidence of fulfillment of a condition, the deal ends at the time stated in the offer. The MREA has created forms for members to use when an extension of time is needed. If the buyer is unable to meet the deadline for a condition that benefits them, they may use the form shown here to specify the condition of the offer that they have not satisfied and to propose a new time and date by which to do so. If necessary, the buyer may also use this form to request a change to the possession date. The buyer then signs the form and submits it to the seller. If the seller accepts the request, they will also sign the form and return a copy to the buyer. Similarly, the seller may use this version of the form to request an extension from the buyer if they are unable to meet the deadline for any conditions that benefit them. The seller may also request a change to the possession date if needed. The seller would then sign the form and submit it to the buyer. If the buyer accepts the request, they sign the form and return a copy to the seller. For the extension of time or change of possession date to apply, both parties must agree. If the party receiving the request does not want to grant the extension of time or change the possession date, they are not obligated to do so. The initial time and date will remain unchanged. If it is known in advance that a condition will not be fulfilled by the deadline stated in the offer and the request for an extension is denied, most conditions can be waived by the party making the request to allow the transaction to proceed. However, caution must always be exercised before an unfulfilled condition is waived. For example, whenever a condition for the sale of a buyer's home or a condition for financing is waived, the buyer should always have a contingency plan in case their house doesn't sell or the financing isn't available by the possession date. If they are unwilling to waive the condition, the offer to purchase contract is terminated because their condition has not been met. Additional forms have been created by MREA for providing notice about conditions fulfilled, unfulfilled, or waived, and for canceling the offer contract, all of which are available on web forms.